Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to the February Sampson County Board of Commissioners meeting. This time, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Vice Chair Sue Lee.
Hello. This time I'm going to turn the meeting over to Letha Lee, and she's going to bring some comments on Black History Month. And the commissioners will stand as she makes her remarks.
Good evening, everyone. These comments are concerning observance of Black History Month, which is February. If the audience would like to stand, you may do so at this time if you can. February is Black History Month, a time dedicated to recognizing the achievements and contributions of African Americans throughout history. This month serves a reminder of the struggles, triumphs, and resistance of a community that has faced and continued to face significant challenges. This observance serves as an opportunity to acknowledge the immense impact African Americans have had on shaping our society and our culture. Black History Month is not solely about honoring those of the past. It is also an invitation to reflect on the present and consider the work that still needs to be done. Systematic racism, discrimination, and unequal treatment unfortunately persist within our society today. We must confront these issues head-on and actively work towards creating a more inclusive, equitable, and just society. Black History Month is a time to honor the past, celebrate the present, and work towards a more just and equal future. It is a reminder that the journey towards racial equality is ongoing and requires collective action. Let us strive to build a society that acknowledges, appreciates, and uplifts the contribution of African Americans, not just during this month, but every day. Thank you.
And at this time, Commissioner Godwin will have our invocation.
Let us pray. Most holy and almighty God, we come, Lord, thanking you for this day.
Thank you, Lord.
And we thank you that it was you that woke us up this morning and started us on our way.
Yes, sir.
And we say thank you.
Thank you.
We thank you for this Sampson County, Lord, as you allow us to stand on the wall,
Yes,
that we
God.
are the ones to lift up your name.
Yes,
thank you for the glory of protecting us, guiding us, and thank you for the wisdom and knowledge which you give us, Lord. Now the word of God says, if my people, which are
Yes.
called by thy name, will humble themselves and pray, seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven and heal their land. Thank you, Lord, for blessing us.
God.
Now keep us, Lord, that we be able to do what you would have us to do, that you get the glory and the honor. We pray for each one here tonight, Lord, that we'll have insight and be able to see the glory that you are bringing this here, Sampson County. Now keep us that we do your will. In Jesus' marvelous and matchless name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Godwin. And now if you'll join me with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Lee and Commissioner Godwin. All right, at this time, I'll accept the motion to approve the agenda as published.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, second? Second. Okay, all in favor, raise the hand. All right, the agenda is approved. All right, at this time, we'll call on Mr. Keith Jackson to come forward and give us an update on the litter issue that we're dealing with our roads.
Good afternoon. Thank y'all for having me today. First, one thing I would like to do is our leadership in Division 3 in the maintenance division is Trevor Carroll. He came tonight, had an opportunity to be here. I'm thankful. I mean, it's nice for him to be able to have that opportunity. So I just wanted to see Trevor. So I did. One of the things you would generally give you an overview over DOT maintenance and construction. So first thing I would like to do before we get into the litter review is have Daniel Jones come up and talk about our construction active in our county.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good to be here. Appreciate the opportunity as well. Just wanted to go over a few construction projects that we have active. We've got two bridge replacement projects that are active, one on Keener Road and one, it has just left me that quick. Keener Road and, goodness gracious,
We'll find it.
we will find it. I don't know where it is. Anyways, the Keener Road project's coming along, and it is about 80% complete. We've got two resurfacing contracts that are, have been awarded, and they were scheduled tentatively to begin in the spring of this year. And one pavement preservation contract, and that will consist of approximately 60 miles receiving a type of treatment in Sampson County. We do have two bridge construction projects coming up, one on Wrights Bridge Road over the Carharry Creek, and one on US 701, which will be over the Black River. So we don't have start dates on that right now, but they are in the works. So that's all I have, and thank you, Keith.
Thank you.
So I wanted to start out with, in December, Ms. Lee contacted us about meeting with her and the community members in Harrells and Ivanhoe community. That was in early December. And so what we did, we met, Daniel and I went there and had a great time. It was nice to meet those folks and listen to some concerns and to some comments they had. And there were some light items and some issues and some things that they wanted us to address. And we've provided you that email with the responses, and some of those things are still in the works, and there's reviews going on with those things, so we'll keep you updated on those items. Also, in early January, Mr. Kivett contacted me to talk about litter control. So I'm not the resident expert about litter control in our division, but I have the gentleman here that is. So Keith Groves, he is our division roadside environmental engineer for Division 3. In that role, which is wears a lot of hats, but one of those hats is litter control. So I'm here to let Keith talk to you about what they do in litter.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here. Litter is a fight that I fight every day, and it's near and dear to my heart. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. I've lived here all my life, and these roads mean something to me. And so I'm honored to speak to you tonight. First of all, I want to promote Litter Sweep. If for those of you who may not be aware, Litter Sweep is something that we do twice a year, fall and spring. This spring it'll be April 13th through 27th. And what that is we count on our volunteers to pick a spot and pick up litter. The county maintenance offices provide all the bags you need, all the gloves you need, and it's just a time to pick up litter to try to supplement what we're already doing. And I want to go over a few things of what we're doing. A few years ago, legislation was passed that required litter pickup to be performed prior to mowing. So we mow 5 times per year, starting in April, and we pick up litter prior to each mowing cycle on primary routes. Secondary routes, we rely on our Adopt-a-Highway partners. In Sampson County, we actually have 90 Adopt-a-Highway partners, and which in fiscal year 2023, those 90 groups picked up 15,585 pounds of trash. And that amounted to 267.8 miles that they picked up. And so that's a big help. Litter pickup is very expensive. In Division 3, we spend, every year we've increased spending, but in fiscal year 2024, we'll spend $1.2 million picking up litter. That equates to about 20% of our operating budget. So it's a huge cost. It's necessary, but in my opinion, enforcement of the litter laws that are already on the books is the answer. The proof of that is enforcement of laws work, and the proof of that is in 1984, approximately 11% of the population wore a seatbelt. In 2023, it's estimated that 94% of the population wear a seatbelt. And it's not because people got safety conscious all of a sudden. It's because they didn't want the $180 ticket. Litter fine is $250 up to a $1,000 fine, class 3 misdemeanor. And it can be enforced. And I implore you to reach out to your law enforcement agencies and request that litter become a priority, because that's the only way to stop this. Throwing money at it is not the answer. We're going to continue to pick up litter. And I've reached out to Sampson County, I've reached out to the North Carolina Department of Corrections. We've recently signed an agreement across the state with the Department of Corrections to reinstitute inmate litter pickup, but it's going to be on a much smaller scale than was previously. They've sent us a list of counties that they're willing to pick up in. Unfortunately, none of the counties in Division 3 are on that list. So I've reached out to the state director and asked for Sampson County to be added to that. I don't have an answer on that yet, but I'm hoping that we can work something out. And we would have those folks pick up in the secondary routes where we're not currently picking up by contract. But I've got a few statistics just to let you guys kind of know what we're doing every year. So calendar year 2023 so far, or we picked up across the state, we picked up, in Division 3, we picked up 797,850 pounds of trash. 11,639,910 pounds of trash statewide. That is astronomical numbers. And we have routes that you can pick up today, and in 2 days, it don't even look like they've been picked up. So it's a constant battle. But again, enforcement of the laws are the answer. And a change in the culture. What we do in our department is when we're invited to go into schools, we pass out no litter stickers, we pass out stuff for the kids, and we're trying to teach the young people to not litter and tell their parents, don't throw that out the window. The majority of the trash you see on the roads is from unsecured loads. So we definitely see around the landfill areas an increase in litter flying out of the trash trucks, flying out of people's vehicles. So again, I believe law enforcement can help us in that area, but it has to be a priority. So in fiscal year 24, we're still in that, but we're projected to spend $1.2 million this year on litter pickup. And we've increased spending every year that I've been a part of this. So it is definitely something that we're trying to accomplish. But again, please, during Litter Sweep, contact us. All this information is available on ncdot.gov//litter sweep. That'll give you all the information you need. But thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions?
Thank you. I don't have a question. I would just like to thank him for his remarks about the trash, because trash is a priority of mine too. Because every morning when I go walking, I take my gloves and trash bag, and I'm picking up trash from the time I leave my house to the time I get back. And that's uncalled for. That shouldn't be. Because when I lay down at night, there's no trash. And when I get up the next morning, the road is full. It's not fair for me to have to pick up somebody else's trash, but I have to do it because I don't want it around my house. So, I mean, everybody's not going to feel that way, but it really looks bad. And so anything you can do to help us out with the litter and the trash, we certainly would appreciate it.
Certainly.
So I have, just briefly, on the Sampson maintenance side, I think we talked about in the last quarterly meeting with you is, our planned maintenance activities, which is, forward planning. Those activities were completed, in 100%. We're very pleased about, that was a That's the second year in a row that we've been able to do that, and it looks like the trends are continuing to actually expand those planned maintenance activities. You know, our world is a planned world and then a reactive world. So we're excited about that. Looking really forward to that opportunity. The resurfacing packages, Daniel talked about the packages that already are received by his office. I submitted a resurfacing package in December that he'll be seeing soon. And the staff in Sampson Maintenance are currently working on, we do our submittals twice a year. Our July submittal for our planned resurfacing package and preservation. So, looking forward to those opportunities also. So, that's all I have, almost, but do y'all have any questions for anything, Ms. Lee or anybody? I know, that was a great meeting, that evening, and, any other questions about anything we have at the time?
Is Lisbon Street on your package?
Yes, sir, it's actually in contract, yes,
Waiting
sir.
to hear that. I was just
Dan
waiting to
just
hear
got
that.
that, see him nodding, yes, sir, yes, sir, it's there, it's ready to roll, yes, sir.
Any questions? I think we're good.
So I have one more thing for you. So I have had an opportunity to advance my career in DOT that's going to take me outside of Sampson County Maintenance Office. So with that being said, Sampson County will still be an area of responsibility, but it'll just be in a different role. But what I wanted to let you know about that is we strive on redundancy. We want to be it. When I walk out the door, nobody knows I was gone. If you call my office, I've talked to Daniel. Daniel's next door in the district office. He has a long history of county maintenance engineering activities. We have a close relationship. If you have any concerns, you can call my office, or you can call Daniel at his office over there. And Trevor will be the responsible party for the next person coming in. And so I hope there's an opportunity when that comes in that I can bring that person here to introduce them to you, but also to be able to help them with a smooth, lessen the learning curve opportunities, because I will be in the area. So anyway, and I did want to tell you, I have thoroughly enjoyed working with each one of you the entire time I've been here. I appreciate our relationship in such a professional manner. And you know as well as I do that we want to do everything we can to help. Yeah, so anyway, thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Jackson,
Yes,
please.
ma'am, I'm sorry.
I just want to thank you for what you did for the Harrows area and Ivanhoe area when you came in and talked with the citizens. They didn't know that they could do that.
Yeah.
And so under my leadership, they have been able to get some things done with their roads, which is very important to them, and it's very important to me. And I would like for the rest of them to know that they'll be invited into some more areas to talk with my constituents and see what they can do to help out. Because that's very important that we have safe roads. And you did that.
I just want to expand on it just a little bit. From our leadership, we want to get that message out. We want you to call, the citizens to call our office. You have a concern with a DOT route, you call us. We want to answer those questions. And, if there's something we can do, an immediate response, a planned activity, or whatever it may be, litter, mowing, what we want to have that response. That is and important from our leadership standpoint, and they drive that from us I want my field staff to say the same words, to the public. So that's important for us. So, yeah.
I can say that truly, ever since I've been here and I called on you, you always come to our rescue. You help us out a lot.
I appreciate
And
it.
we've called you a lot.
It's okay. That's what we're here for.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
One thing I will say, the litter situation seems to be getting worse, and whatever we're doing is not going to keep up. I have paid close attention just lately, and it seems to be everywhere. It's not just one road, it's everywhere. And so I don't know, there may be some other alternative, but we need to be looking for that. That's just my 2 cents worth. Anyone else have a comment?
I certainly agree.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, we'll move on to item 2. I'll open a public hearing. Ms. Lance, you would come forward.
So the following item was addressed at the January 22nd Planning Board meeting. It's a rezoning request by Jordan Fazey, CEO of Finite Inc., to rezone 14.3 acres of tax parcel 180-537-6005 from residential agricultural to industrial. The planning board voted 3-0 to recommend approval of the rezoning request with the following findings of fact and zoning consistency statement. John Swartz, on behalf of property owner KAMCP LLC, has submitted an affidavit authorizing Jordan Fazey to apply for the rezoning request. Jordan Fazey, CEO of Finite Inc., has signed the rezoning application as the applicant. The proposed 14.3-acre site is currently zoned residential ag. The proposed site has 220 feet of direct frontage on Rowan Road and is located less than 600 feet from Turkey Highway. The Sampson County Land Use Plan classifies the site as being within the Industrial Growth Corridor land use designation. There are residential homes located 300 feet east of the proposed site. The northern portion of the parent parcel is zoned industrial, as well as properties northwest of the proposed site. The properties south and east of the proposed site are all zoned industrial agricultural. All adjacent property owners within 100 feet have been notified by mail and property has been posted. The zoning consistent statement, the Sampson County Planning Board finds the proposed rezoning to be consistent with the Industrial Growth Corridor land use designation and to positively align with the main purpose and intent of such designation. The Sampson County Planning Board finds that the rezoning request is reasonable and in best public interest, and all other permitted uses in the industrial zoning district are reasonable and in best public interest, and recommends approval to the Sampson County Board of Commissioners. The Sampson County Planning Board finds the proposed rezoning to be consistent with the land use plan.
Thank you, Ms. Lance. Anyone have a question? Ms. Lance, does anyone else wish to speak concerning this? If not, I'll close the public hearing. What is the pleasure of the board?
I move that, excuse me, that we rezone the property as recommended by the planning board and that we adopt the following zoning consistency statement. Do I need to read the statement?
Okay, have a second? Second. All right, any more discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it's unanimous. All right, we open another public hearing. Ms. Lance, you have.
So from our January 8th meeting, to provide you, our Board of Commissioners, with additional information and address concerns that were voiced by a few citizens, Mr. Greg Stewart, the project manager for Retz and Companies, has provided some material he would like to present tonight. But as a reminder, I would like to just go over the rezoning request. It's a conditional rezoning request submitted by Retz and Companies to rezone tax parcels 0717284101 and 070169229901, a combined total of 2.01 acres from RA to CZ Commercial District for the purpose of a retail variety store. Our planning board voted 4-1 to recommend approval of the rezone request based on the following zoning consistency statement. The Sampson County Planning Board finds the proposed conditional rezoning to be consistent with the rural residential agricultural land use designation and to positively align with the main purpose and intent of such designation. The Sampson County Planning Board finds that the conditional rezoning request to establish a retail variety store is reasonable and in best public interest, and all other permitted uses included in this conditional commercial zoning district are reasonable in best public interest, and recommends approval to the Sampson County Board of Commissioners. The Sampson County Planning Board finds the proposed conditional rezoning to be consistent with the land use plan.
Okay, does anyone have any questions? Okay, there's someone else. You have someone else.
Yeah, Mr. Ritz.
Stewart.
Mr. Stewart.
Okay, Mr. Stewart.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for taking the time with us today. Just to recap your memory, last time we tabled this motion because some community members, Ms. Powell, Mr. and Ms. Faison, raised some concerns, and I wanted to make sure those concerns were addressed appropriately. So in doing our due diligence, I just wanted to draw your attention to a couple of the items and the issues that they brought to our attention and how we look to address those issues in our design and moving forward if we are lucky enough to get rezoned. Unfortunately, the TVs aren't working. I was under the impression they could be, but the PowerPoint that we supplied is in the agenda minutes on Sampson County website. So if you'd like to look at those, you're more than welcome to look at the PowerPoint that I'm referencing today. Very briefly, I'll just start out. One of the concerns that was raised was about the property being in a floodplain or wetlands. As you'll see in pages 1 and 2, the floodplain and wetlands designation do not impact either of these lots that Ms. Best or Ms. McLean is attempting to rezone. So as far as, yes, there is water that flows off of the intersection of Wright Bridge Road and Garland Highway, and I'll get to that in a second. But as far as the lots being in a flood zone or floodplain, that is not the case with these two lots. The second concern was environmental concerns that were raised. In your packet, you'll see on page 3, we have a preliminary environmental testing from our environmental consultants that has identified no recognized environmental conditions, which in layman's terms, that means both of these lots are adequate to have any type of development, whether it be commercial or residential. The other two concerns involve traffic and drainage, so I'll address traffic first. Currently, we submit all of our plans to NCDOT, that's North Carolina Department of Transportation, for preliminary evaluation. They have given us comments. What they are recommending is a 50-foot right turn lane coming from Wright Bridge into the proposed development. Again, these are all preliminary. Until we're rezoned, we have no idea exactly what's going to happen. But for the most part, we do work with NCDOT on a variety of things to make sure all traffic concerns are addressed. I can tell you that two of the aspects that we're dealing with is one, entrances. Our design has two entrances, one on Wright Bridge Road and one on Garland Highway. That's if someone wants to take a right at Wright Bridge Road and enter on the less traveled road, or leave the establishment on Wright Bridge Road and go to the stop sign, they are able to do so. So those members that want to enter off of Wright Bridge Road, which is I think it's 700 cars a day, as opposed to the 4,800 cars a day that come on Garland, are more than able to do so. The second issue with traffic, if you'll notice on your handouts on page 4, there are a lot of trees at that intersection. Our design will remove those trees if we're able to rezone. It will remove those trees, which will ultimately increase visibility at that intersection. Right now, if you go to Wright Bridge Road and you look to the right, there are trees that block your line of sight for, again, I'm not going to ballpark the distance, but they do inhibit vision. If we're able to rezone, our plan is to remove those trees, which will ultimately make that intersection and increase the visibility in all 4 directions. Lastly, we talked about the 50-foot turn lane. Again, all of the road work, we had a concern raised by another gentleman at the last one. All of this road work is to be paid for by us. This is not community tax dollars going to this road work. This is something that we inhibit in our development cost, and we'll be working with NCDOT to make sure that we meet all of their guidelines and protocols. Lastly, which was one concern that was raised, was drainage. If you'll look at the survey that's provided on item 4, Wright Bridge Road in Garland is the top of a hill, and the natural topography pushes water to the back of the lots and down Garland Highway. Now, all of the water that comes off of Garland and Wright Bridge Road is currently going that direction. One of the issues that was raised was we would be moving dirt, or we would be doing something in our design efforts that would increase that water. All of our design efforts, based on what we would be working with the North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality, would be to redirect the water already flowing in that direction into the ditches on Wright Bridge Road and Garland Highway. So again, no one can say where water will go indefinitely. We're still very early, but we will design to move water to the ditches, not to the neighboring parcels, as so indicated the last time we spoke. The only other thing that came up in the last Board of Commissioners meeting was a privacy concern and people going from the newly, hopefully rezoned commercial lot back into other areas. Based on Sampson County UDO, we have to provide a privacy fence between commercial property and residential property. So there'll be if we're able to complete our design, there'll be a 6-foot privacy fence that goes down the side and the rear of this parcel, eliminating any through traffic to other lots. I am happy to meet with anyone that wants to discuss our design. We look for community members and community feedback throughout our processes. Some things we're able to mitigate and some things we're able to help design around. Others we can't. But the only way we can help design a site in the best fit for a community is to meet with the community and hear their voices. We attempted to meet with some of the community members that address these concerns. They were unable to attend, but I would more than happy meet with anyone to address these concerns that they may or may not have with regards to our design. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Anyone have questions? I don't. So,
Thank you for your time.
thank you very much. I think at this time, Ms. Powell, you wanted to speak?
I first give honor to God. My name is Priscilla Powell. I'm the widow of the late Fred Powell, building contractor. And yes, I have concerns about it. And he went over what I was complaining about, the flooding of the property and the traffic and the effect that it would have on the town of Garland. Now, first of all, Dollar General was in the town of Garland, and everybody's wondering why did they leave. So now what they want to do is come and put another store, and this particular store will take away from the town of Garland. And help me to understand. On one hand, you say you helping people, but then on the other hand, you're taking from people. The people of Garland have had the Piggly Wiggly and their stores for years, and then you all gonna want to take away from them? And then the next thing is crime. One of my granddaughters that live in Virginia, she said, "Oh, no, Grandma," said, "somebody just went in the store and killed somebody around the corner in Dollar General." I don't want crime around me like that. You all know it's the possibility that if you build that store, it's gonna get robbed. And where do you think they're gonna go? My property is the adjacent property. And then too, with the flooding issue, yeah, I have a problem with it because at this time, if you come to and look at the site, their land is like this and mine is like this. When you build it up, but anyway, the next thing is the property tax. What is it gonna do to my property tax? And then too, along with the crime issue, I have to give it to Sheriff Garner. He's doing an outstanding job, him and his staff, his officers. But from Monday to Friday, there's only 1 to 2 deputies on the southern end of the county. And that means Garland, Ivanhoe, and Ingo, and Harold to look after the people. And then I have some questions. And the first question is on page 3. It's the environmental site conditions, wetlands. Okay, my question is, do you have an approval from the Corps of Engineers that states this, that it's not, no wetland is present? Do you have a approval from the Corps of Engineers to state this? The next question is, how do you know about the hydraulic soil representation on the county GIS? It's my understanding that the criteria should have a Corps engineer approval. Then, question, why are you not using the Wright Ridge Road for the front entrance instead of 701? the Wright Bridge Road would be much safer. Last but not least, based on the plan that is not in enough detail for me, where the water from the parking lot, the building will be going. Your plan don't show it. The plan doesn't show anywhere where the water's going, but we all know. And on the proposed site plan, it appears you will allow enhancement, parking, and a sewage disposal. Hey, where is that water going? Now, what he didn't tell you about the river, everybody know the Cape Fear River flows towards us. Now, how can you do a drainage to match with nature? When a storm comes and they turn the levee loose in Fayetteville, the water comes to us. And along with that, I'm not the only one that feel like that. I have 99 signatures, people requesting that at this particular site, because of the traffic hazard and because of the drainage that it's going to do to my property, that you all do not approve the rezoning. And I got to say this. All these years, it's been residential and agriculture. I'm still there. The 2 trailers are vacant, but people have come back to rent the trailers. Mr. Van parks his truck in his field. The other field, a farmer plants crops. So nothing has changed. So help me understand, why would you make a big change to affect me, Mr. Van, who's trying to make an honest living with his trucking company? And another thing, if you go to Garland and on your way back from Garland, when you're down the hill, when you come up the hill, you at my house before you realize it. Like I said before, I have to back to keep from getting hit. In the other direction, coming from Clinton, Mr. Van addressed that. He said he's a truck driver. You coming down the hill, and he said a truck speeds up coming down the hill. Like I said, I would love for you all to take in consideration all the facts. And thank you for your time. I would like to thank the people that came out to support me. I would like to thank the 99 people that signed the petition to stop building the dollar store. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Powell. Ms. Faison, I think you wanted to speak.
Good evening. My name is Belinda Faison. I live at 219 Lisbon Bridge Road, and that's in Garland. Like last time I was here, I talked to you about flooding. I heard, I don't know if he was an engineer or what, but I heard that the first thing I heard was the cutting down of the trees and digging the trees up. Anybody know? I mean, that did it with me right there, because anybody know when you start digging up trees in a flood area, most of the time those trees are there, it helps absorb that water. Now, I told you last time, when they start digging in those areas, on the flood area, there's a lot of erosion there, because what it is, when that water comes in, it creates a lot of problems. And I heard somebody said that they would reroute the water, they would, some kind of way to reroute the water to keep it from flooding. I have never seen in this lifetime anybody control water. If in that case, the levee's going to broke in where's that place down there in New Orleans? When that water wants to go somewhere, it's going somewhere. So I'm not really sure what that was about. And when I heard digging up the trees, that was enough for me right there. That's why we having so many problems out there in California, where all the trees got burned up and the water's just everywhere. Those trees help absorb water. That area is a flood area. When we stayed there, which we stayed there 14 years at 12662 Garland Highway, we had to leave that home for 7 days. And the only way we could get back home, because it flooded out the area near the pit stop, the whole highway was flooded out. It actually cracked the highway, the water did. So if anybody tell me they can control water, how in the world did the highway get cracked? The whole highway was cut in half. Nobody could even cross it. So when someone tells me that they can control water, I know that's got to be a lie, because I've never heard about anybody controlling any water. You can't control water. It goes where it want to go. When you start digging, it creates other problems. It reroutes water other places. Miss Powell's house is on a hill. The area in the back goes down the hill. There's a little area branch there that runs right through her property. When it rains, it's like the area we had when I was living in Alabama. We had a house. There was a little branch that ran behind the house. But when it rained, guess what? The water came all the way up to the house. And you talking about decay? It causes structural decay to all property where that water hits. And then what happens to the property, the value of the property? Then her property goes down. Not only does it affect her property, what about all the other people right around there in the community? It affected the whole community. I remember Miss Van, before she died, she called me, she said, Belinda, how can I get out of here? Evidently she got sick. And she was telling me she couldn't get out of there because she got real sick. And I didn't even know how to get out of the place. I called Miss Powell. She told me, okay, my grandson knows the way to get back to the house. So I gave her the directions to get back to the house. All the directions that we had. Do you know we had to cross mountains and mountains of water to get back home? And that wasn't even in that area. We had to come all the way around to a different area. It's not gonna work. So I'm not really sure why they wanna put a Dollar General in that particular area. Put it somewhere else. It's a lot of areas around there in Garland that you can put a Dollar General. I'm not really sure. Someone said it benefits the community. Who said it did? Who's the expert here that says it benefits the community? In what way? If Dollar General benefits the community, we can go up to Clinton and buy stuff there. That's a good one up there. It's not in a residential area. Why would you put a Dollar General in an agricultural residential area and then call this a conditional commercial? What is a conditional? What does that mean? I don't even know what a conditional means. I'm not sure what it means. But anyway, I have a question for the engineers. I read somewhere on the internet where they have a no adverse impact certification. So I want to know tonight, what kind of certification do we need or that's going to guarantee that no flooding comes, since you can't control water? Because when you start digging, that velocity of water starts coming in. It'll be just like we are in New Orleans somewhere. The Brevard's certification. I want to know about that tonight. When you start building on an area that is increased risk for flooding, and it can affect all the communities, I want to know the guarantee that it won't. I want to know tonight what is a conditional. I want to know what a Brevard certification, and do they have one? Or a no adverse impact certification? I want to know about that tonight. And so we can have some guarantees. If they which, I know you're gonna do what you want to do anyway, but I want to know tonight about that adverse impact. So, if there's no adverse impact, everything is fine. But if it is, everybody that holds a position tonight, and I'm looking you straight in your eye, you're gonna be held accountable. Because you're affecting people's lives. When God gives you power to have these kind of positions, which is a great thing, there's a responsibility to come with it. So, as of tonight, I'm just warning that any kind of decision that you make that's gonna affect someone else, talking about a dollar store, which we can go up to Clinton, okay? You're gonna always have to live with this decision. But tonight, we wanna know about the adverse impact that it's gonna have on the community. We wanna know about that Brevard certification. And we want to know what kind of, how they gonna be controlling this water. I want someone to tell me about that. And when they start cutting down the trees, which soaks up the water, and with the Dollar Generals, they put down pavement, so I just can see the water rushing in now. The water soaks up the ground, but now you're gonna put in pavement. So where's the water going? I heard someone say it's gonna like go over into a ditch. I wanna see that one. I'm serious. Cause I remember living in Alabama, and ours ain't went nowhere. In fact, it messed up everything. It made the ditch wider because it eroded all the soil. And we had to they've actually torn down all the houses there now because of the decay with the water going underneath the houses. So like I said, I haven't seen anyone control water yet. Sometimes you can put it at a point where you can kind of hold it back for a while, but when that stuff starts flooding over, it does what it want to do. And it does have a negative impact on the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Faison. Does anyone else have a comment on this?
Can Mr. Stewart respond to a couple of items, please?
Sure. Wait a minute, we got, this gentleman here is coming, so let's get him first. Thank you.
Michael Van, 12535 Garland Highway. I hear him say about the road, but it take 100 yards to stop an 18-wheeler running 55 miles an hour to make a complete stop properly. Okay, I think about 2014 to 15, I want a driveway pit on 701 if I can drive around my truck from 701 to Wright Bridge Road. This DOT told me I had to be so many feet away from that intersection just to have a driveway. So you gonna have a intersection and then have a turning lane. He said about the trees there, people have been going there for years there. Them trees ain't stopping no view going down 701 if they want to see. And next thing I want to know, if y'all pay that dollar store there, if y'all guarantee my property taxes won't go up and won't go to commercials, that's a main concern to me. That's all I got to say.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Stewart.
So I just want to address a couple of the items that came up. First, with regards to the hydraulic testing, we've had Sampson County Public Works out there, and they've already found suitable soils for the septic tank, and Sampson County will be the one that's permitting that operation. So it's not just like we're deciding where we are or are not going to put that. With regards to hydraulic and if the soils can handle it, we do geotech testing, which I did not include in my presentation. happy to include it. We've already done preliminary testing to understand that the soils can support this development opportunity. The last is when it comes to water, and I'll address the traffic as well. There are 7 different agencies that we have to go through for approval in this process. North Carolina Department of Transportation issues a driveway permit. They're not going to approve anything that does not already meet in their handbook. North Carolina Department of Environmental Quality is going to issue us an erosion and sedimentation permit if we meet their handbook and guidelines. Sampson County Planning and Review has to issue site plan approval. There are literally 5 to 6 different organizations that exist to address these concerns from the community members to make sure that we do everything and abide by all the ordinances and codes that are put in place by our state and by the county. So again, as far as water is concerned, with NCDEQ, they will make sure that our plan adequately addresses it, and they will not let us cause another wetlands or cause any type. I can't guarantee that. I know that you're looking for guarantees. We're in the rezoning process. We're about 3 months in. These things will come up, but we're working with agency and Sampson County to make sure that we are minimizing them as much as possible. I just didn't, one of the things that I did not want to be the takeaway was we were going to be able to go and do whatever we wanted to at any time. There are multiple agencies that are going to make sure that we abide by codes set by the county and the state. So, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
Could I ask a question?
Yes, ma'am, sure.
Okay, I've noticed that there are some, pink ribbons everywhere. What did that mean?
Yes, ma'am, we had to go identify the survey stake. That's identifying property lines by legal rights, so we understood exactly where the boundaries of the property were.
Okay, now I see a pink and black ribbon. What did that mean?
I think I have to be more specific, ma'am. I know the pink stakes, though, are representing the property lines. Other than marking the property lines and testing the soils, nothing has been done to that property.
There's a pink and black ribbon hanging different spots on trees and stuff.
That could be a corner stake, ma'am, I don't know, but it's all to mark property lines.
No, sir. But anyway, I just wanted to look at
Yes, ma'am.
even though I did not sign in, but I speak.
Certainly, come on up.
I'm Helen Bronson. I live at 10143 Garland Highway. I am not in favor of a Dollar General coming into our community. I have been doing personal research on my own about Dollar General, and it seems that many communities, particular rural communities, and particularly black and brown communities, are being targeted by Dollar General. They appear to have lower prices when they come in, but if you look at the size of their products and the cost of those products, they cost more than what you would pay at Walmart or Target. Their products are usually low quality and higher priced. Our Board of Commissioners should be looking at businesses to come into our community that offer nutritious foods for us. I understand that Dollar General is now including some foods, but we need nutritious foods of high quality in our community, not a business concern that offers us low-quality products at higher prices.
Ma'am, state your name again, please.
Helen Bronson, Bronson.
Thank you, ma'am. Anyone else like to speak? Hearing none. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you 3 minutes.
I'm Bobby Benson, and I was born and raised in Sampson County, Clinton, North Carolina. I went away for a lot of years, but I've been back. I moved to Garland, and as my wife earlier said, we lived, on, Garland Highway for about 14 years in that spot that they wanna move with Dallas Funeral. I've seen a lot of things. I just think it must be larger than a Dollar General. Since, Miss Powell and Mr. Van are in the way of making, the residential, agricultural area, commercial place, if they will move those couple of residents out, gentrification, what I've seen before, and, they move, highways and roads and, well, a lot of immigrants have come in, went out, was in Clinton, there was black people and white people. Now all the Mexicans and Chinese, and you go in the grocery stores, Walmart, and the shelves are empty, they may be, want to put up as many of these cheap stores as they can, and, so that, and buy more than just, Mrs. Powell and Mr. Van's property. I guess they got the houses, all these Mexicans, they, bid them, those people, places to live. So I don't know what's going on with Sampson County. I know they, haven't always been honest people, that they would just come by and let you know what they really wanna do with stuff. Well, that's all I wanna say.
Thanks, sir, we appreciate it. Mr. Starling, did you have something to say? You good? Okay. I thought I had you down, my apologies.
No, no, sir.
Yeah. Anyone else? Okay.
I'll be brief. My name is Jessica Bowers. I spoke to you last month. I'm the attorney for Retson, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be here today. I just want to remind everyone that we need to look at the 5 items that are the criteria for this rezoning application. We've heard a lot of concern and frustration tonight, and we've heard that and absorbed it. I think Mr. Stewart here has done a good job of reminding everyone that the developer is legally not allowed to go rogue. They have to follow and do what a lot of different agencies and organizations and people such as yourself tell them to do. But also I'd like to point back to criteria number 2. And this is on the face of the application, and everybody who applies for a rezoning has to answer these questions. And question 2, or criteria 2, is that the use permitted under the proposed district classification, light commercial, would be in the general public interest and not merely in the interest of an individual or small group. And so I'd like for you to reflect on what you've heard and what you've heard from the planning board and make a decision on what you think is best. I'd like to respectfully submit that the criteria, the 5 items, have been met in this case, and if you have any additional questions, we'd be happy to supply any additional information.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I would like to ask Attorney Starling something, if I may.
Okay.
Attorney Starling, is there anything you see in this that does not adhere to Sampson County laws and rules of zoning?
I mean, that's a pretty wide open question. I mean, you have, this is a conditional rezoning. The board has to look at the criteria, the 5 criteria that are set forth in the ordinance, and whether the rezoning request has met those based on the information before the board.
Okay. Any other questions? All right, close the public hearing. All right, what is the recommendation of the board?
It appears that everything seems in order according to our zoning statements, and I move that we rezone the two parcels from residential agriculture to commercial.
Is there a second? Second. Got a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? It's 4-1. Okay. The motion passes. All right. Mr. Johnson,
Good evening.
good evening.
A couple of property tax related items, advertising tax liens on real property. On the first Monday in February, it's the duty of the tax collector to report to the governing board the total amount of unpaid taxes for the current fiscal year that are liens on real property. Upon receipt of this information, the governing board must set a date or dates for advertising. The law requires that the liens be advertised at least once between March the 1st and June the 30th. The total property taxes that are liens on real property for this fiscal year is $3,620,497.45. And that's a little bit higher than last year, $295,609.32. And I would request that the board consider setting a date of April the 10th, 2024 as the date of advertising, with the cutoff being Wednesday, April the 3rd, 2024 at 5 p.m. for payments to be in the office to keep from being advertised.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
Motion to accept.
Got a motion, need a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Okay,
And the second item is the 2024 Board of Equalization and Review. We need to consider setting some dates for that. The first meeting shall not be held earlier than the first Monday in April and not later than the first Monday in May. In the year a county conducts a real property reevaluation, the board shall complete its duties on or before December the 1st. The meeting dates are required to be published at least 3 times, with the first publication to be at least 10 days prior to the first meeting. Also, the notice shall state the date the board expects to adjourn. I've got some dates I'd like to recommend. Looking in May, Friday, May the 3rd, 2024, Tuesday, May the 14th, 2024, Wednesday, May the 15th, 2024, Thursday, May the 16th, 2024, Tuesday, May the 21st, 2024, Wednesday, May the 22nd, 2024, and Thursday, May the 23rd, 2024. And we would like to set appointment times between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. on those dates.
okay. I so move. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. All right, it's passed. All right.
All right,
I think
thank
we
you.
got you covered. Thank you. This time, I'll turn it over to Vice Chair Lee for board appointments.
I move that we appoint Katrina Boykin to serve on the Health Department Advisory Committee. Do I have a second?
Yeah, second.
All in favor? That's all I have.
All right. Now, Ms. Lee, Commissioner Lee, you've got a proclamation, I think.
Yes. Good evening again, everybody. I hope you can understand me. I got something wrong with my throat. It's a proclamation honoring and celebrating the 100th birthday of Miss Macy Renee Bannerman. Whereas Macy Renee Bannerman was born on January 17, 1924, and has been a lifelong resident of Sampson County. And whereas throughout her lifetime, she has seen many changes to our community and our world. And whereas Macy is a faithful member of Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church and as a respected member of the Ivanhoe community, she is willing to serve and is always happy to support and encourage her fellow citizens at every opportunity. And whereas Macy created a happy home and a loving family with her husband Ernest on Wildcat Road, where she raised 9 children. And whereas Macy's family, friends, and community members will celebrate this incredible milestone with her on Saturday, January 20th, at Pilgrim Rest Missionary Baptist Church in Ivanhoe. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Sampson County Board of Commissioners congratulates Macy Renee Bannerman on her 100th birthday and extends its best wishes for many more years of health and happiness. Adopted this 5th day of February 2024 by R. Gerald Kevitt, Chairman, Stephanie B. Shannon, Clerk to the Court. I'd just like to say Ms. Bannerman is so worthy of these honors that has been bestowed upon her to live 100 years in a community that she loves. And she loves the people, and the people love her. She's a beautiful lady, and I appreciate her being a part of Sampson County.
All right. All right, this proclamation's in the consent agenda. Does anyone have any other questions? Not, I'll accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
You got a second? All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. All right. We're down to the county manager's report.
Mr. Chairman, I will be brief. The budget for the 2024-2025 year is officially underway. We've been talking about a variety of issues related to the budget for months, but I believe the department heads received their information to formalize all of the work that they've been doing in preparation of the budget. So at this point in time, we're asking for the preliminary information to be received by Mr. Clack and myself by March the 15th. And we will then start to expeditiously do the reviews and start communicating with the board as necessary on things that we find and suggestions you may have. And that concludes my report.
Thanks, sir. That brings us to the public comment section. Apostle Mons, you're up first.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Y'all know I gotta have my sign. So, this evening, I'd like to discuss, at last month's meeting, I got a pacifier mailed to my home 3 days after the last meeting. I haven't sucked on a pacifier since I was a little boy, so I have no idea why it was sent from the Human Resource Department, but I have copies of the letter if you would like to see them, for each one of you. Just see me after today's meeting, and I'll gladly give them to you. And I also haven't played on a merry-go-round since I was in grade school, so I'm not about playing on merry-go-rounds. But very quickly, I'm going to give you a biblical story. There's the prophet Elijah, and there's a man called, he met with 450 of Baal's prophets on Mount Carmel, and you all know that he had to go up against them, and God was with Elijah, and it's going to make sense when I finish, so bear with me. And so what I've been going through, my family and I have been dealing with a spirit of lying and deceit with your DSS department. And at the end of this month, I have a meeting on Mount Carmel. And and you all know on Mount Carmel, the prophet Elijah, God answered by fire. So my God is going to answer by fire at the end of this month. But the thing about it is that so many resources has been spent on this particular case that has been based upon lies and deceit. And because people have not been held accountable, and this is why I've been coming to you all to hold those accountable who has perpetuated the lie that has cost this county money. And it has been told us it has spent an astronomical amount of money. You all can't even use your hired attorney for DSS because of unethical practices. And none of the judges in District 11 can be used because of unethical practices. And so there has been a tremendous amount of resources used on this case. So the taxpayers want transparency. I'm letting them know that because of negligence on individuals' parts, and once again bringing it to you all's attention, accountability needs to be served. So I have become y'all enemy because Galatians 4:16, I have told you all the truth. And when you stand on truth, truth always prevail. And so in this case, truth shall prevail. And when it prevails, I'll be back to let you know that it has prevailed and what the repercussions will be because of the lies that people was not held accountable. And you all allow it to happen. So I thank you all for my time. And I'm still waiting for my appointment to a position as well, Vice Chair. I had to get that in. So once again, thank you all for allowing me to speak. Y'all have a blessed night.
Thank you, Mr. Mons, thank you. Mr. Reynolds?
Lynn Reynolds, 1435 Hollering Road, Dunn, North Carolina. We got an upcoming election. I'd like to encourage everyone to get involved and vote in the upcoming election in March. It's my hope that each candidate run a clean campaign. We're all neighbors and should treat each other as we would like to be treated. In my district, the election turned ugly and 2 years ago, it turned into a smear campaign. I was disappointed to see my neighbors trashing one another. And at the end of the day, innocent people and family members got hurt. Even one person in this room had their salary became a topic, and he too was an innocent victim that was hurt from the smear campaigns. My wife and I were bitterly disappointed when I opened my mailbox to see our neighbors making baseless allegations against one another. I threw it in the trash. I was disgusted. Come on, people, we're better than that. Let's make sure we keep this campaign clean and let the best candidate win. That's all I got. I would like to direct Mr. Kivett directly.
Yes, sir.
I understand the board is meeting in closed session tonight.
Yes, sir.
I would like to request to meet with the board during that meeting. I have a personnel concern that needs to be addressed tonight and tonight only. I will be here waiting.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. All right, Elaine Hunt.
My name is Elaine Faison Hunt, 7171 Old Warsaw Road, Turkey, North Carolina. I've been coming before you all since 2022, almost 2 years now. And I'm just like Noel. I'm singing the same old song. We still desire county water in my area. True that, you have county water at Timberlake's area. You have it as far as Moultonville Road. I'm about 4 miles from that. I've had calls, environmental people have called me. So some are showing concern. I'm a little let down that you all are not, the ones that we have elected and put in these positions. But nevertheless, I have been told there are grants. And you all know about grants. You know how to seek them. You know how to write them. You know. We deserve county water. And county water is not just a pleasure. It's a necessity. We need clean, safe water so I can drink. I have to buy my water. Other neighbors have to buy their waters. And believe it or not, water is getting expensive like everything else. It's going up. It's not at a standstill. So tonight I come and I want all those who came in support of this request to please stand. We come seeking your help for county water. As I always say, we are not looking to hand out because we know you will not give us a handout, but we're looking a helping hand, which can only come from you. And I just ask, how long? And if we even get some call back or something to let us know. I know you see me. I don't know if you hear me. I never get a response. But I do want you to know we are still seeking county water, and only you can help us get it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hunt. All right, Sarah White.
I'm Sarah White. I live in Turkey, outskirts of Turkey. I'm addressing you tonight about the $80 from the Sampson County tax collector that was sent to us that needed to be paid by the end of December 2023. I went up on the 13th of December and paid mine like a good citizen normally would do. And then a little later on, I heard that the newspaper, as well as the letter that was sent out to us from the chairman had signed, stated that the board's decision to charge every household person solid waste fee of $80 resulted in unusual amounts of confusion, concern, and many other things that had happened. What I'm asking is, are you aware that the money that we paid in that doesn't belong to the county has not been returned to us? I have called and talked to someone in the financial department. I didn't get the latest name. This was shortly after the beginning of the year. And she told me that a few checks were being sent out gradually. She said, but they first had to decide, a meeting had to be held or something to decide to how to send out the money or whatever. And I do not know if they meeting, maybe this January meeting, I didn't attend it, so I don't know what y'all decided, even if that came up. But what I'm requesting is, today is February the 5th. I paid mine in December. Why hasn't the money been returned to us? Can you give me a reason why? Are you aware that no, the people's not got the money back? What I'd appreciate if y'all would make a decision tonight to have the county type those checks and get them back to us. It is our money. It doesn't belong to the county. Can you do that tonight, please?
I agree with you. Thank you. Dolly Lane.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my concern with you. I live less than 2 miles from the landfill. I am having a very hard time with the buzzards. They are sitting on my house. They're pooping on my house. They've torn shingles off of my house. I have had peppermints crushed and put on my house. I bought about 10 wind chimes. I've put cayenne pepper in my yard. I go out every day and I shoot my gun, not to kill them, I'm not that good, but to get them off of my roof. The guys from the landfill came and put up a decoy on my light pole. That has helped some. But it's disturbing when you go outside and there's at least 50 buzzards sitting on top of your house. And then I had to get somebody to wash the top of my house. They are taking over. And if you go down 24, coming or going to Fayetteville, you will see flocks of them going across to the dump. And I can go down to the end of my road, and it looks like a black cloud on top of the landfill with the buzzards. And if something is not done, they're coming this way. I mean, I have seen flocks out on the Bonnetsville Highway, and then there's another house down the street from me. They have already ruined their roof. And the population has gotten out of control, and I would like to see if we could do something about it. I tried to get me a permit, and I understand that would take me several months, and I'd have to get it from federal government in Atlanta. It's a whole drawn-out process. And I'm very disturbed by it. I've got a radio sitting on my porch playing music all the time. I take my car out of the garage, I blow my horn to scare them off. And as I said, I go out there and shoot my pistol. And she told me, she said, you could go to federal prison. I said, I'm not shooting to kill them, and I'm not that good. I mean, I'll admit that. It's just a scare tactic. But it's way out of control. And I had not noticed how bad it was until they landed on my house, and I thought something was crashing into my house. It's terrible. And I don't think any of y'all would want at least 50 buzzards sitting on your house, regurgitating and pooping and making a tremendous mess, plus tearing up your shingles. And I know some of my neighbors have the same problem, but they were not willing to come and share. But I would like some help in this matter. I live alone, and I'm not able to handle the buzzards. So if we could do something about that, I would certainly appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Lane. We'll
Thank you.
look into it.
I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I've had a similar situation.
It's not fun, is it?
No, it isn't.
But I thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Have a good evening.
All right, that brings us to the end of the public comment section. Accept the motion to go in closed session.
I move that we go in closed session.
All in favor? All right, we're in closed session.
Don't laugh.
All in favor? All right, we're out of closed session. At this time, I'll entertain a motion to accept the summary of the terms of the settlement.
I make a motion that we accept the sums of terms summary from Aikens and County of Sampson County,
And to authorize the chair to sign the settlement agreement.
and authorize the chair to sign.
All right. Second? Second. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. It's unanimous. I think that's the end of what we gotta do, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.